everybody, welcome back. We are going to be diving into all of the different databases inside SAM 2.0, and with me is Mark Stepp, our co-founder and our chief engineer. And Mark, I am so excited for the databases that you've been building. So real quick, let's talk about what is Power Packed inside. And I do know you've got another meeting, so you can go ahead and go on after that, and I'll finish up with you guys. We can actually look inside the system.
Absolutely. Well, everybody knows that SAM 2.0 has a powerful contact database. That's said and done. What we do have in place right now is some things that I've been working on is the ability to track your properties, each of the properties for those contacts, the listings that go with each of those properties, and you could have multiple listings over time, and you can track each of those historically. There is a section in there for the offers. So each offer on a particular property listing itself, you can have multiple offers. Each offer could have different information, and you can now use the AI to be able to narrow down the pros, the cons, the scoring mechanism that's in there to help the seller know which property might be best for them to choose. Now, it takes it off the shoulder of the agent doing it that way, letting the AI kind of do the number crunching and do the analytical stuff, and then just hand that information as a packet over to the seller to identify what direction do they really want to go. And actually, as each of the offers are either accepted or rejected, you would have all of them rejected after a certain point. Even put in there, what was the rejection reason, and then be able to send that back over to the agent and say, whatever, so you can have automatic responses and stuff. So once the offers are accepted, then goes through the full transaction side of it, from contract all the way down to close.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, Mark, thank you so much for stopping by. I know you've been hard at work with these databases, and the proof is in the pudding, but I know you've got to get on, so I guess we will see you really shortly. But for you guys, don't worry, we're going to dive in real quick, and we're going to look starting with the contact database. So very first, let's go ahead and dive into the contacts database. Now, on the very far right-hand side, we've got a couple of things. First, we can adjust the layout of our contact database. This is going to be so that you can start building out specific layouts for specific tasks that you have going. Maybe you only need to see first name, last name, phone number for a quick call list, or maybe you only want to see their email, so you can just start to gather email information. Now, if you use the 3 stack bars on the very far right-hand side, you can also do a couple of really cool things. The first one being a smart import of a single contact. Now, imagine you are out on the internet and you have just received a lead, but you want to learn a little bit more information about them. Well, now what you can do is you can start looking up information about them. Maybe you find a About Me section inside their website, or maybe you go to one of their social media profiles that has lots of different details about them that you didn't initially grab. Well, you can go ahead and copy all of this and use this smart import single contact, and SAM is going to take all the information that you were able to gather, and it's going to place it in its proper spot inside the contact database. So this is going to make importing contacts really powerful. Now, the other thing that it can do is it can import a CSV file so that you can bring in your database. This is pretty standard from system to system, but you're able to import these CSV files, and SAM's actually going to help you along the way building out all of these different things. So outside of that, once we actually dive into the contact card, this is where the power starts to begin. Now, you're going to see a lot of things like traditional CRMs, but SAM is going to just completely flip on its head the idea of what a CRM even does, right? So the very first thing that I want to call your attention to is this contact preferences tab. Now, the contact preference is essentially the preferred communication style of this specific contact. I like to say I'm a millennial, don't call me, right? And so you could assume as we're talking to each other that, oh man, Cody doesn't like having phone calls. Well, that means his contact preference is probably either email or SMS. So now, as you're building a relationship with me, you can start to figure out these things and you can realize how best you're able to send me messages and serve me, right? So, this is going to be one of the really powerful things. You're also able to define a preferred language, and you've got access to lots of other different things from the type of lead, the status, the category A through D is pretty common. And then you've got tags. Tags are essentially little folders that allow you to create little lists of different things. Now, under this is going to be where some of the power of SAM really comes in. And this is the important dates. Now, important dates inside of SAM 2.0 are actually how the automations start triggering. So traditionally in CRMs, you would have to go into a contact and then you would have to start an automation. You would have to select the automation and you would have to manually run it. So the question then becomes, is it truly an actual automation, or are we just starting tasks that run for us? Well, inside of SAM, automations can be started automatically. That's really cool. And it does that through these important dates. So one of the best ways that I can explain this is inside their birthday. Maybe as we're talking with our new contact, we learn their birthday. And we have previously already built a routine to handle any birthdays that we learn. Well, when I fill in the birth date inside this contact, what it's going to do is it's going to immediately trigger that routine to start, and those automations will begin. Now, what that looks like for me is going to be based on that routine that I've built. And in my case, it's going to send 5 days before a custom written message specifically for this person to my inbox so that I can handwrite a card and I can put it in the mail. And then at that point, it's got some other things, but the automation itself is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. So now all I had to do was learn about, build a relationship with this contact. And as I learned details and filled them into my system, Sam was able to do the rest. Now, we've got another really cool feature inside the contact card that is going to be leveraging AI to do some of these really cool custom touches, right? So this is our personal details and our priorities sections. Now, the personal details are all of the things that you learn about a contact while you're working with them. I like to say it's their likes, dislikes, goals, hobbies. Maybe it's a little bit of information about their family. And all of these things, as we're learning about them, can help teach Sam a little bit more about these contacts. Now, what this looks like is back to that personalized birthday message. Sam can use that information that you've added into your system to ensure that that birthday message is personal to me based on those personal details. Now, the other thing that it can do is these priorities. Now, while we're on a call and we're talking to a contact about what are your priorities for the specific type of property you're looking for. Well, as we learn these priorities, we can start to add these. Maybe it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. Maybe it's a 5-bed, 4-bath. Or maybe we're really invested in looking for a good backyard. All of these can be sent into the priorities tab, and we're giving Sam additional context that Sam is able to use. Now, outside of that, we have under this a calendar that allows you to see specifically for this contact what automations are starting to be triggered, and we can actually start to run these automations by clicking into anyone. We can tab over and look at the different completed automated steps through these different actions in the routines. And then we can start to look at some other things. We can look at any agreements that we have. We can look at any social media links that we've gone out, we found, and we've added. That way we can keep track of all of their social media. We can add notes, and then we can also do some connections. Now, connections are a really great way for us to tie contacts together. So, for example, maybe I have a business partner named Mark, right? And I want to make sure that I have Mark and I's relationship connected. And so I would take Mark's contact card and I would connect it to mine as business partners. And this is going to allow me to not only send both Mark and I an email at the exact same time, because of how we have this built out based on any routines that you have that need this, but also it allows me to toggle over to Mark's contact very quickly and efficiently so that I can see anything that Mark has inside his contact card as I'm working. Now, the very last thing you can do, you can upload any personal files that you need specifically for this contact, or any details that you learn along the way. So inside of this is the start of the CRM functions, and this is just where it begins. So we can tab over to our properties section, and now we can go ahead and we can start to look at this. Now, the very first thing you might notice is it looks very similar to the contact section inside of SAM. And on the far right-hand side, we are able to click the 3 stacked bars, and we can look at how we're able to export to PDF or to Excel all of this information. We can also, very similar to our contacts, adjust the layouts. But outside of that, we go into the actual property, and this is where some of the magic really starts to happen. So clicking into the property, what you're going to see at the very first is some of the property information. And this is where you're able to add things like the property name as well as the actual address of this. Right under that, you're going to see tabs for the properties, the listings, and the transaction side of the actual system. So let's go ahead and click into the properties tab. It should be defaulted, and we're going to look at all of this information. So inside the properties, you have owner information that's tied directly into those contacts that you have in the section we just showcased, and you can have multiple property owners, you can add, you can delete, and you can also click to email all of the owners at once. So this is going to allow you to really quickly send a quick one-off email to any of your property owners just based on the property itself. Under that, you're going to have access to all the property details. This is going to be where you can either gather these from your MLS, or maybe you just start filling it out based on what you know about the property. You can add all of these property details from the cooling system, the roofing type, how many floors, how many square feet it is, lots of different things. And then under that, we have access to the property's location. So this is going to give us a really holistic understanding of all of our different properties detail. And then after that, you have access to tags again, which allow you to group these properties into more specific areas. Maybe we tag it based on the neighborhood we're working in or the city it lives in, if we work in lots of different cities. But this allows us to have a really good understanding of exactly how these properties fall into line. Now, outside of that, we have our important property dates, which are going to be very similar to our important dates inside that contact card. This is going to be where we start to trigger those routine automations. So what this means is inside your properties, you can also be running automated processes that are going to allow you to execute those automated systems. So this is really cool because we can start to understand all of the different pieces. And now we just focused on one piece at a time, build the automation for it. And we don't have to focus on hundreds of different things inside a listing or a transactional process for this specific property. We just have to look at each of these different things. Now, after that, we have a notes section as well as a files tab at the very bottom, just in case you'd like to throw any notes or you need to add any files. And again, this is how we inform SAM to give it full context of exactly what we have going on. Now, once we've done all of this, we can go ahead and we can click into the listings section. Now, the listing section is going to be where all of our listing information lives. So at the very start, we can have the select listing. We can look at any listing details that we have. You know, what is the company listing number, the original price. We can look at the occupancy status. We can look at different milestones. We can add any different listing tags that we have. We also have automated important dates for the important listing dates so that we can trigger routines off the listings. At every point, if there's an automatic system or an automated process that we need, being able to do this is going to be really powerful. Now, after that, we have the ability to add listing party members, and we can select the different types of listing party members. And we can do that to see, based on the specific contact, who those listing party members are with some basic information into them. We can look at any marketing information that we've utilized in our actual listing of this property. We can look at showing information to understand what is our showing process looked like, where is the lockbox, and what is the actual code. And then we can look at estimated proceeds, where we're able to start to build out a general understanding of that by learning a little bit of different information. So the first is, what is the outstanding loan balance? What is the loan payoff fee? And what is the total commission percent, as well as the total commission amount? And then from there, we can start to look at how that is divided amongst different entities. We can start to figure out what are the estimated proceeds for this specific listing. So outside of that, we have one of the coolest features. Now, this is something that as of now, I haven't seen in any other system, but it is one of the most powerful things that I think is inside of this listings function in our SAM 2.0 CRM feature. And it is the listing offers. So as you are using this listings tab for this specific property, you are going to be able to enter all of the different offers. And what SAM is going to do is it's actually going to look at and recommend what are the pros and what are the cons of each of the different offers. Now, what you can do from here is you can start to understand which of these offers is going to be most advantageous. But now we're able to kind of understand what does the landscape even look like, and more importantly, if we have an offer that is pending that falls through, we can then look at all of the other different offers that might have been placed on the actual property for the listing side, and we can start to maybe make a second offer or seek down one of those additional offers. We can understand exactly what those are going to look like. Now, outside of that, we have a notes as well as a document section inside of here that you can add any of those notes or documents into this as well. Now, the very last section that I want to showcase to you guys is the transactions section. So the transactions section is going to have all of the transactional information, the transactional details, as well as transactional tags. And then you're going to notice that just like the other two sections, we have important transactional dates that once filled out are going to trigger those routine automations so that we can start to build out our property, our listing, and our transactional automations based on the specific important dates that are triggered at any of these different milestones. So this is really cool. Now, under that, you have the ability to add all of your transactional party members so you can keep track of who all is involved in this overall process, and you can click into these specific contact cards to ensure that if you need to review more information about them, you have the ability to. Now, outside of that, you don't really need much more inside your transaction section. So we have notes and files, but I will note that it is something that we're always constantly evolving and adding to. But inside of all of these, you are going to have the ability to manage your all-in-one CRM style information, your contacts, your properties, your transactions, and your listing side of your real estate business. And this is so cool. I'm so excited about the CRM function because it's going to bring a lot to SAM, and it's going to bring a lot to you and your business, and allowing you to actually be able to automate out some of these traditionally manual processes. And the ultimate kicker in this is SAM at every single step in the process is taking the information that you've given it, and it's using it and it's infusing it into its own understanding so it can help you additionally. And this is something that traditional CRMs just simply are not going to do. So this is the CRM section inside SAM 2.0. Hopefully you have enjoyed this. Hopefully you have started diving in and imported some of your contacts, your properties, and added some of your transactions, and you're really starting to understand exactly what SAM is able to do for you. But I will see you guys on the next video.